Man, it feels good to be back. What's going on, gang? My name is Savilian. I'm the host of the Sav Show. And today we are talking about entitlement and the entitlement trap. So I wrote a newsletter recently, sent it out to my list, basically talking about this concept of the entitlement trap and entitlement as a concept, and kind of how I think, a big part of our society is being drawn into this kind of false sense of entitlement and disillusionment, where we kind of feel like we're belonging of things and have earned things that we probably haven't yet. And so, basically it got spawned by something that I saw recently, basically rapper 360, who, man, I've been a fan of for like 15 odd years. Got embroiled in a bit of a controversy where he put up a freestyle online, copped a fair bit of criticism for it, and it got me thinking about the concept of entitlement and how I think a lot of modern men and women have become trapped and entrapped by their own sense of self and own ego and, feeling of, deserving of things. And it's a shame. It's a shame that, so many people think they deserve so much more than they probably do. And yeah, I kind of wrote on that. So anyway, this is a little dive into that kind of newsletter. So yeah, this is what I got. So basically, I start off by saying there's so much stuff in the world, okay? Sometimes there's too much stuff, and I often hear about how people lack things. Right? People complaining about, I don't have that, don't have this, don't have that job, don't have this, thing. Should have got this opportunity, didn't, don't have this, don't have that. And, I'm one of the blessed few with so much, right? I have a lot of things. I have a beautiful apartment. I have a beautiful life. I have a beautiful family. I live in a great country. I have so much to be grateful for. I have these fucking nose strips that are cool. Got these glasses. Got this dope Scottish top that my boy Don gave me. And yeah, I have so much to be grateful for. So that the feeling of wanting and needing and lacking is something that I can't really comprehend. Well, can I? Here's the thing. I can understand where it comes from, but I have to admit it is really hard to respect that position. Like I can understand it. I can understand and I can empathize, but I definitely don't sympathize. What I mean by that is my life has been full of twists and turns, okay? Up and down. I have taken myself on some incredibly traumatic paths that, quite frankly, I have been lucky to escape from. Often I reflect on how lucky I have been to get out alive. Now, don't get me wrong, I have been that crying boy at certain times saying, what about me? Please, sir, can I have some more? Because I was overlooked or underappreciated. I felt like I deserved things at certain times and I didn't get them, so I fucking sulked. And, I didn't want to eat my veggies and all that bullshit. But now, as I sit here, as a 36-year-old man, I do see that I have everything. And that I always did have everything. It was just my own expectations that blinded me from those facts, right? The world is a wondrous and vast place. I often, almost every single day, stop to smell the roses. I love life. I love everything about it. I take it all in every single day and it doesn't get old. Now, as I grow older and accumulate more wealth, I also garner my perspective. And I can't help but feel grateful for things that I have. And basically in no way am concerned with the things that I don't have, the things that I lack, the things that are missing from my life. I don't care. The same cannot be said for many people in my generation. And I've seen this, 360, I suppose, is the most relevant, most recent example that I've seen. But you see it play out in so many celebrities, people who have no reason to complain. Kanye West, I've seen it in the light. I don't know. I've seen certain elements of it pop up in the Rogan sphere, and Russell Brand, and so many people who have everything, who I don't see having any reason to complain. Find ways to complain. It baffles me. But yeah, basically 360 puts out this video, freestyle. The video is titled Barbarian Freestyle. It was very 360. It was raw. It was unfiltered. And he was just rapping. He was doing it well. The bars were impressive. The delivery was cool. And he was, 360 at his quintessential best in terms of his flow and his delivery and stuff. Except the content of his bars did draw a lot of criticism. They drew huge backlash, some mild amount of support, but huge backlash from all facets of the hip-hop and Australian music landscape. This particular video copped, hundreds and hundreds of comments, basically clowning him for, some of the just some of the words that he was using, the way that he kind of sounded, the overall tone of the delivery. Now, in the video, 360 appeared to be venting some frustrations with how he perceived that of what was going on in the rap scene. Essentially, he was claiming that gimmicks were preferred to skill. Gimmicks were preferred to skill. But the way he did it was considered wildly distasteful, as he made mentions of skin tone playing some role in what was being elevated. Okay? Now, I think you can see where this is going. Let me just put things in context as far as like my relationship to 60 and just how I see him, just so it can be on the record right here, right now. I have I have idolized that man for like 15 years. I love and always have appreciated his work. I always saw him as someone vulnerable and authentic. I believed he was and always has been someone that seemed to understand the plight of minorities. Like, I thought he was a pretty like open-minded person with like a good heart. And I don't really believe him to be racist or hateful in any way. But something did stick out in this video that it caught a nerve with it touched a nerve with a lot of people. And I think I know what that was. My diagnosis of what drove 360 to say what he said is, I think, a little bit misunderstood. I don't think it's hateful. I don't think it's racist. Maybe there's undertones of that for sure. But what I see is a man that is gratitude deficient. What I see is a man that is too focused on the things that he does not have. So even if he was not being outrightly racist or bigoted in his bars, he was at the very least sounding super entitled. You see, it is a very tough tightrope to walk when you're rapping, right? In a rap song, we only have so many words to express our thoughts. This can be a blessing and a curse. In this freestyle, 360 attempted to vent a frustration that so many of us have felt in the last couple of years, especially in Australian hip hop, me being one of them. Now, let me just backtrack a second. The fact that we have so few words to use in a bar, in a 16 bars, means that, we have to say things very, we have to try and say it in a efficient kind of way. We have to try to say it elegantly and like quick and make it sound cool. Maybe that's what he was trying to do, and he just didn't use enough words to give context to the things that kind of have caught the attention of a lot of people. But if, you got to be smarter than that. Like, you can't, and here's the thing, if you don't, and you don't give any further context, once it's kind of pointed out in any kind of genuine way, he eventually did make a post on his Instagram, on the Instagram post. He commented on the Instagram post, but it was so like mediocre. It was so like, half-hearted. So yeah, the blessing and the curse of being good at words means that, if we're not really, really good, then we can leave things open to too much interpretation that can get us in trouble. So, it's the job of the songwriter, the person who's putting down the creation, to take control of the narrative. And if you can't, then I mean, you leave yourself open for criticism like this. And the thing is, he has all these other platforms and all these other like angles that he could have attacked this with. Like he could have had a podcast. Hey guys, breaking down these bars that like have been taken out of context. What I mean by that was, and I totally understand what everyone said. I apologize for how it came across. Do you know what? Yeah, I have been a bit low lately and I have been a bit focused on other shit. And, I said that in a way that implied this, and it doesn't mean that. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. This is what it actually meant. He had every opportunity to do that, didn't do it, okay? But, getting to the kind of crux of why I think it came up is a feeling of not being recognized. And what I mean by, venting frustrations that so many of us have felt is, that's something that I have felt as well. Why not me? I'm better than them. Is this because of some agenda? Am I not hitting their diversity quota, et cetera, right? But the mistake that he made was not stopping to think, to consider his privilege, his entitlement, and the many, many blessings he has, okay? He did not stop and think, consider his entitlement, his privilege, and the many, many blessings that he has. Blessings like, number one, he's alive and healthy. Holy shit. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm doing it. Oh my God, how good is life? Number two, fans and family that love him. His fans adore him still to this day. Like the guy can tour whenever he wants and he'll have people turn out all over the country to listen to his music. Like, holy shit. Like, what else can you ask for? Number three, he has had an illustrious and decorated career. Like probably the most well-known or one of the most well-known Australian hip-hop artists ever. Okay, maybe the most famous Australian solo act ever. Number four, wealthy beyond what he could have ever imagined. Like literally has not had to work for like 5 or 6 years, probably will never have to work again. Royalties, sponsorships, touring, merch. Like he's made it in a country where not many rappers make it. He's made it. He did it. He did the thing that he probably set out to do. Maybe, I don't know if he set out to do that, but like you would assume that was what most people would want to set out to do, is do the thing that he's done. He lives in a country free from war, right? And terror, where freedom of speech for the most part is respected, right? We live in a place where, and I understand there is context and there's nuance, minorities, the indigenous communities, like, First Nations people, there are still kind of divides in certain places. Like we're not perfect. I get that. But if you had to rank us in terms of like war, terror, violence, racism, misogyny, homophobia, freedom of speech, if you had to rank all those things and figure out where we would sit, we'd sit pretty fucking high in Australia for that shit, okay? For all those things combined. I guess. I mean, I don't have data, but I feel like based on what I've seen the rest of the world, we'd be pretty up there, okay? And he lives in that country. Now, like all of that shit is amazing. It literally does not get better than the life that he has. But instead of seeing the good, he saw the bad. And that is what I call the entitlement trap. The reality is that he is not alone, okay? Far too many people in 2025 see what has been taken. They see what they are missing and what has been withheld from them. Similarly to 60, I see people, as I mentioned, Kanye West, Joe Rogan, Russell Brand. With all these people, I had seen slowly but surely their gentle creep towards the woke right coming from a mile away, all right? It's the what about me narrative, complaining over the most fucking stupid shit while they're like totally ignoring the real harm that's being done to the majority of humans on the planet. Things like they locked us down. They forced us to take the jab. They are taking our cities and our jobs. They are forcing girls to compete against boys. They, not me, not I. Not I. I'm not, what am I doing? What do I have? Oh my God, I have everything. I have this, I have that. Oh no, but no. It's like this. You have all this here and you focus on that. Like that's not affecting you. That has nothing to do with your life, but still they focus there. Now don't get me wrong, the woke left have taken things a little too far in my opinion. But how far, really? Let's be honest. Further than world leaders that are linked to pedophilia and sex trafficking rings. Further than a live stream genocide in the Middle East. Probably not. Further than a class and financial system that incentivizes privilege. Probably not. Further than the broad acceptance of assault and violence as a means to get what they want. Maybe, but probably not. Look, I'm not saying that any of the above things aforementioned behavior, from either side is acceptable or brilliant. But give me a world where boys beat girls in sport every day of the week over a world where the rich and the wealthy run rampant while the middle and lower classes are left to starve. Give me that world every day of the week. Look, I understand where 360 is coming from. I understand the seed of his motivation. I understand that kind of little voice inside. I have felt that voice. I've been there. I don't hate him for how he sees the world. I don't hate him for having that voice inside. But I do expect more from him. And I do expect more from human beings. I do expect more from everyone. That you don't have to listen to that little voice. Oh, they took our jobs. They deprived me of this. They deprived me of that. Oh, they deprived us of everything. They're destroying this. They're destroying that. Like, I understand where that voice comes from, but you don't have to listen to it. You can drown that voice out. The lack of gratitude is pervasive. I see it everywhere. But the way that we rebuild a world where people see the good and rejoice as opposed to whinge because they don't have enough is by rebuilding ourselves, rebuilding yourself, rebuilding the I. Do not allow yourself to become entangled by this entitlement trap. When you win, be grateful. When you get more, give more. When you're down, build others up. Okay, that is enough ranting for me this week. I'll leave you quickly with a quote from Marcus Aurelius, which is a absolute barn burner. When you rise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Notice he doesn't say have. Like it's not because you have anything. It's just if you have a mind, if you have a heart, if you have your breath, you have everything. You are privileged. You are alive. And we need to be more grateful for those things and less occupied by the things that we do not have. Okay. Anyway, my name is Savilian. Thank you for tuning in to The Sav Show. This has been my episode on the entitlement trap. Man, let me know what you think. If you have not subscribed to my channel, it'd be beautiful if you could. Man, I want to say a lot more things, and I plan to say a lot more things. So feels good to be talking again. So appreciate you all tuning in. Do you know what? I will see you next week on The Sav Show. Let's go.